Hey there, we are live here on YouTube, so this video will live on. For those of you who are going to be catching this, because most of you probably aren't catching it live here on YouTube, you are going to probably want to jump ahead. I'm going to go live on Instagram in just a minute. So when I get started over there, I will kind of get distracted here, and there's going to be some lulls while I get launched over there. So you'll probably want to skip ahead in this video, and then I usually do a lot of intros and chatter over on Instagram before I jump right into the topic. So you'll probably want to jump ahead through some of that as well if you don't want to listen to that banter back and forth. This video, we are talking about the current status of Facebook and social media in general as a result of the recent congressional hearings, privacy concerns, and the GDPR, which is coming out as a European regulation for data sharing and privacy concerns and that sort of thing. So we'll be talking all about that in this video. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get launched over here on Instagram to start that live video and recording as well. I will not be talking directly to this camera because all the engagement happens over on Instagram. I just stream it here on YouTube Live so that the video lives on and you guys can come back and watch this after the fact for additional information. So I do apologize that I'm not looking right at you, but I will try my best if things pop in over here to give that my attention as well. So with that being said, now is probably a good time to start jumping ahead in the video. I'm going to go over to Instagram. This is always, got to get things going. Got to get things all lined up. Ooh, that is some blurriness. Hold on. Bad camera. There we go. Woo. Maybe. Come on, Instagram. Let's do it. Instagram does not like me. All right, let's try this again. All right, we are not having fun with Instagram. Technology is always fun when it doesn't work for us. So Instagram Live is not connecting, which is always fun when you're supposed to be going live. So let's try this again. Try rebooting the app. Let's try this. This would be really funny if it actually went live and I was streaming me making all these funny faces. Although you guys are getting it all here on YouTube anyway, so if some of you haven't fast forwarded through all of this, come on, Instagram. Why don't you like me today? I have to go off Wi-Fi. I will. Let's try one more time. Okay, super freaking annoying. Let's try going off Wi-Fi. Let's try again. Okay, technology is trying to cooperate with me. We are now officially live on Instagram. I had to disconnect my Wi-Fi because apparently being on Wi-Fi, Instagram Live would not connect. Just sat there and wouldn't go through. So gotta love playing with live video. For those of you who are here live on Instagram, Mike Alton is already in the house. Thank you for those of you who are joining me here live. If you're watching this on the replay, tonight we are going to be talking about the current status of Facebook given privacy concerns, congressional hearings, the GDPR, which is coming out for the European Union. So lots of stuff going on. We will be talking about that today. We're going to go ahead and say hi to people that are popping in. Everyone's showing up. Thank you for being here. I know I was on a little bit late. Technology was not cooperating with me. I am live streaming over on YouTube as well. So this video will replay here on Instagram for 24 hours, assuming it saves and everything works, because technology is not always my friend. But it will be available on YouTube as soon as we finish this recording. So if you aren't able to watch this full replay, you can always go catch it over on my YouTube channel. Just search for Jen's Trends. So we've got Just Because Day Spot is in the house. We got Chantel. We've got One Piece Pop. We have Living the Life of Randy is here. Good to see you as well. Watson KS is here. Social Media Sean is here. Good to see you as well. We've got Sandhill Social is here. So it is going to be a good show. Thank you for those of you who are here and tuning in live. Hello to Just Because Day Spa saying hi. Amanda is in the house. My cousin is in the house. Hey. Brisbane Memories is in the house. Tiger Up Media is in the house. So many of you popping in. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys are here. As I said earlier, for those of you who just tuned in, we are talking tonight about Facebook and the recent, all the kind of chaos that's been going on in the Facebook world, things related to data concerns, the data mining, privacy issues, privacy changes, everything that went on with the congressional hearings last week, and things that are going to tie in with the GDPR, which is taking effect May 25th over in Europe. So lots to talk about. A lot of it is technical. I am not here to provide legal advice. I am not here to tell you how to be compliant with the GDPR when we get into that topic. But it is definitely something that you need to be aware of. You need to do research. There's a ton of resources out there. I am not here to give you any of that professional advice. I'm just here to shed some light on the topics and my interpretation of how this will impact social media in general. So just want to put that disclaimer out there for you guys that nothing I'm saying, I am not an expert in this field. I have been reading and learning and trying to get as smart as I can to have this conversation with you tonight. But I am by no means an expert or legal counsel in any way to provide specific information on this. So That's for Biz is here as well. Good to see you. Social Media Sean said, have a quick question for your expertise. Had a question come my way. Can you link two Biz Instagram accounts with the same Facebook? No. Quick answer, you cannot. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. You have one Facebook page to one Instagram business account. That is it. You can't have a 2-to-1 one way or the other. It's a direct 1-to-1 ratio. So hopefully that is probably not the answer you want, but hopefully that answers the question. Jocelyn Martinez is here. Hello, gorgeous. Good to see you. Mike Alton, Senator, we run ads. Yes, best line of the congressional hearing. I literally laughed out loud. All of my coworkers, I'm sure, thought I was, on something a little funny at work because I had the hearings streaming on Facebook, watching them while they were going on and trying to listen to as much of it as possible on the first day of hearings. And it was definitely, there were some laughable moments, and we're going to talk about some of those tonight. So the We Run ads was one of the ones that literally made me laugh out loud. It was quite entertaining. That's Forbid said nothing will happen with that. Amanda said that whole thing was awkward as hell. Yeah, it was a whole lot of awkward. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Social Media Sean said, thank you. Glad I can help you out with that one. Watson KS said, that was so awesome. So a couple things. Like I said, I already kind of gave the disclaimer. I am not a legal attorney. I am not providing any legal advice. These are purely my thoughts and interpretations of things that have happened in the recent news. So I want to go through a couple topics as all of these things kind of tie together. I'm going to try to keep this a little bit short and sweet. You guys, I am getting over a virus and it makes it really hard for me to talk. My mouth is in a lot of pain, actually. But as you know, I can't be shuttered. I will keep talking. But it isn't the most comfortable thing in the world. So I'm probably going to rush through this in some ways. And we could probably talk about this for hours and hours on end. But I want to give you kind of the highlights and some thoughts on it. But I definitely am not going to be able to, I probably won't fill the full hour with this. I probably could, but I don't think I can physically maintain that. So we'll do the best we can. Lowell is in the house. Good to see you as well. My girl. Hey, Stephanie Liu is in the house. good to see you as well. Aussie Wine TV is here. Vets Forbid said, nothing can stop you from talking. No, there's not much. Over the weekend, it was a lot worse. The weekend, it was really, really hard for me to talk. But even then I did. And you might notice I'm actually kind of favoring my lower jaw. So you'll kind of see that I kind of talk a little bit funny when I start to act up a little bit. So thank you for being patient with me. If I slur some words, it's not because I had a drink. I wish that was the reason. It's really just that my mouth hurts. So enough complaining. Let's get to the topic of the evening. We've got Aussie Wine TV saying good day from Sydney. Great to see you. I'm sure it's a very awkward time for you, maybe really early in the morning. We got Monica Franzo is in the house as well. We got Martha is in the house. So thank you guys all for being here. Excited to have you. So for those of you who did not watch the congressional hearings or any of that kind of stuff, it was a lot of awkwardness. A lot of things came out of it. The first couple hours, the first kind of 2 hours were decent in the sense of questions and things that were posed to Mark Zuckerberg. After that 2-hour mark, it seemed like all of the senators who asked questions at that point were repeating questions that had already been asked, but they felt like they still had to ask them, even though they were the exact same questions and he was giving the exact same answers. So it started to feel like it was just on repeat and it really started to get annoying. But the first couple hours, there were at least some decent questions. I will admit that some of the senators came in and really did do their homework, really did understand what this was about. But the majority of them did not. And I'm not putting this on an age thing. I'm not putting this on any sort of a stereotype, although I'm sure that played a factor in some ways. But really, those of you watching this and me and us as marketers in general, have an unusually high level understanding of how Facebook and social media works. The average population does not. They don't live in this world. They don't deal with the things that we deal with every single day. They don't understand how ad targeting works. They don't understand how data mining works. They don't understand who's getting the information and how it's being used. They just don't get it because they don't live this. I do this all the time, right? Like I'm always reading and learning and listening and trying to get more information and really understand how these things work. And at any capacity of online marketing, you have some understanding of how this works, some people more than others. But the average human being does not understand this capacity. And most of those senators don't. And it's, like I said, it's not for any particular stereotype that a lot of people want to be like, oh, they're old and out of touch. And, they probably never even logged on to Facebook, which for some of them is probably entirely true. But they're not marketers. They don't live in this tech world. They don't understand everything that goes on in the back end. And that was utterly clear in those congressional hearings. It was so clear how little people understood. They were given a list of questions to ask, or they came up with questions that they thought they should ask, but they didn't even know how to ask the question. Like he would be like, well, I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Can you elaborate? And they would just repeat the question in a slightly different way. Like they couldn't even understand the questions they were asking to get an answer that was validating any sort of information of value. And then, they're sitting there going, he's like, well, I don't have that information. And he's like, my team will get back to you. And they're giving him a hard time. I'm like, he's the CEO of the company. He is not going to know every finite detail and every individual metric of every possible thing because Facebook is like a bazillion, let's just call them data categories, data points, because that was one of the funny moments. How many data points do they store? And there's like a bazillion things going on in the back end of Facebook. So of course, Mark Zuckerberg is not going to know every finite detail or every single account that has ever been impacted by something. So it was just their expectation of understanding was not aligned with what is really going on in the world of social media and not just Facebook, you guys. I really want to point out that, this isn't just Facebook. This is social media. Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, obviously they're owned by Facebook, Pinterest, Snapchat, any little niche type social media platform out there, they're all doing the same thing. Like, I'm sorry, here I'm literally drooling on myself, you guys. I'm telling you, my mouth is not a happy person right now. So welcome to live video. So But this is something that's happening across the board. It's not an exclusive situation to Facebook, but Facebook took the brunt of it because of Cambridge Analytica. And if you guys want more information on the whole Cambridge Analytica, you can go watch the video on YouTube that I have on there where I did talk recently about the whole Cambridge Analytica situation. Mike Alton, who is here as well, he is my go-to smarty pants for everything related to online marketing and blogging. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. And he did a great recap of the whole Cambridge Analytica on his website, thesocialmediahat.com. So you can go to that one as well if you want to get a lot more information and background that leads into all the stuff that's been going on now. So quick fly back here. Hey, Stephanie Lou said it's not just their niche. They aren't marketers. Marketers are definitely not part of the norm. Agreed, 100%. Brad Friedman joined. Good to see you, Brad. Mike Alton said, on the other hand, it's their job to learn when legislation is needed. And that leads into kind of my next point, to be completely honest. Janice McDonald is here as well. That's forbid. So they don't understand the Constitution. You want them to understand social. That's getting a little political down the road that I'm not going to go down. We're just saying. So, hey, Stephanie said they need social media training. Yes, a lot of people need social media training. I think we can all agree on that. Tony Thanos is here as well. So we have, so your stay at home is here. No worries. It's all good. You're not that late. You can always come back and watch the replay if you want to catch the beginning, but we're just getting started. Oh, Lowell's saying hi to Mike. Biamalfati. I'm horrible with usernames, you guys. You guys always do this to me. And we've got, I'm assuming the Rosh Olive is here as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. We're talking about Facebook and data privacy concerns, GDPR, congressional hearings, and all that sort of stuff. So here's the thing, you guys. When it comes to everything that's gone on, that got us to the point of congressional hearings and everything, and everyone's freaking out about, you know, all of these issues with data mining and the whole quit Facebook and let's leave. I'm like, first of all, like I said, it's not just Facebook, it's all social media. But it's more than that. It's your dang phone. Your phone is tracking you way more than social media is tracking you. You can turn off all location services on your phone and it is still tracking you. They have studies that have proven this. There are things and videos that are out there that they've done, you know, case studies on this that show even when you disable your location services, your phone is still tracking you. You do a fingerprint thumb scan to unlock your phone. You're putting your fingerprint out there into technology that could be accessible. Alexa Home and all these smart devices that unlock your doors and run your fridge and run your lights and all this stuff. I'm more worried about that than I'm worried about Facebook. Are you kidding me? So Facebook knows, oh, she's either going to be, you know, maybe she's a very conservative person or she's a, you know, moderate politically. Maybe she's extremely liberal. Oh, darn, they know my voting habits. Pretty much anybody who knows me knows my voting habits. I really don't care if Facebook knows. Like, whoop-de-doo. Send me ads for products I actually want rather than irrelevant ads. Oh, boo freaking who? Who cares? Again, as marketers, we understand this. Normal people don't understand this. But they're getting all worked up about data that isn't even that sensitive. It's not, they didn't give away your social security number and your birth date and your pets' names and all this bad information. They gave away information about you as a personality so they could target advertising towards you. That is what got mined and stolen. And now we got to the point where we're at now with all these data privacy concerns. And it's like, I'm more worried about, you know, Target and using my credit card there and having them get breached because their HVAC system had a hole in their sonic wall or their firewall. And that's how they got penetrated and had everything stolen. That is a much bigger deal to me than if somebody knows my voting habits or where I like to eat. So kind of different in my world. But hey, people want to make a big deal about it, so here we are talking a big deal about it. Lowell said, voice assistants are following you. Hello, Alexa and Google Home. 100%. Self-driving cars is what Vets for Biz just said as well. And he said FBI is worse than Facebook. Just saying. Okay, so here's the thing, you guys, don't quit Facebook. I don't care whether it's you as an individual or you as a business. Don't quit Facebook. Don't quit social media. Be smart. Evie, it is about time, girl. You are running late. I hope you've been busy, girl. Make that money. Good to see you. So here's the thing, you guys. Don't quit. Don't quit social media. Don't quit any of these things and jump down these fear tactics of, oh, we're going to leave social media and, it's they're going to give all this bad information out and it's going to, ruin us and they're, targeting ads towards us and it's the worst thing in the world. There's way worse things to freak out about. And as a business, Facebook is still relevant. Social media is still relevant. And I'm totally going off track of my notes because in my mind, I had a different plot plan for this, but I'm going to go down this plot plan. Tesla and was it Tesla and SpaceX? They closed all their accounts. Elon Musk came out and said, fine, I'm shutting down Facebook and I'll take it all down. So he did, which I'm like, kind of shocked by that because of all people. I mean, I kind of understand why, and I'm not going to get into it because I really, like I said, can't talk about this for hours on end. But he shut down his. There was the recent big issue, the JD Weatherspoon pubs over in Europe that shut down all of their social media, saying they didn't need it and they're going to rely on their email list and other ways to get a hold of their audience. That being said, apparently there's a lot more to that story than just shutting down social media because of privacy concerns. There's a lot more that's going on in terms of Brexit and voting and potential money issues and other things that are probably lending to them shutting down their social media for other reasons. But either way, their justification for shutting it down was because of all of this stuff. You guys, you need to go where the people are. If you shut down your Facebook, if you shut down your social media, you're not in front of your audience. Here's the thing. If you send them an email, it gets deleted most of the time. If you're waiting for them to come to your website, they ain't coming to your website. The reason social media works is that you're putting your content where they are. It's immediate convenience. You're showing up, you're top of mind because you're there in front of their face. If you're not showing up on social media, you're not there. You're not part of the discussion. And I guarantee you your competitors are. So they're going to get the attention. They're going to get the reminders. They're going to get the people showing up and making business calls or drop-bys at the stores and all these things because your competitors are still there. You're not. It is going to hurt you. We can sit here and talk all we want about the good old days and, let's go back to a time when we didn't need social media and all these horrible things that social media does to us as a culture. You can whine and complain all you want. This is moving forward, not moving backwards. And a little bit of data privacy concern is not going to change that. We live in a world of efficiency and convenience, and it's only going to get more intense. We ain't going backwards. You want to go live off the grid? Go live off the grid. But you're not going to run a successful business if you're not on social media. I'm sorry. This is reality. Okay. That rant is over. We have a boatload of comments that came in. Okay. I don't know if it's Mariana or Maria, but I'm assuming Mariana Noah said, yeah, the credit card hacks are scary. So you're stay at home. Said I've been on Facebook since 2005. Like, yeah, we've all been on Facebook for a long ass time and we've seen the evolution and everything is fine, people. Daria Jameson is here. Good to see you, sweetie. Vets Forbid said they put the brakes on a lot of my posts that went from thousands to hundreds. Yes, reach has changed. That's a whole other conversation that we're not going to get into tonight, you guys. But absolutely, there have been changes to reach. I've noticed it too. We've all noticed it. There's shifts that we need to make as businesses. Mike said, I gave Facebook more money today and was happy to do it. # smart marketing. Yeah, it's being smart. It's using your money and your time and your resources effectively. His and her Miles is joined as well. Asking, you said, why would you quit Facebook? They all have our information. Just be smart about what you put out there. Research your shit rather than fear mongering. 100%. Watson KS said, dealt with credit card theft twice. More worried about that still than what Facebook is doing. Creations Cuisine is here as well. Ask Evie said, take my money. Amanda said, Elon also has a lot of irrational fears related to artificial intelligence. So it made sense to me that they did it. And that's the thing. He is a very smart man in a lot of ways. And I'm not discrediting the fact that he shut down his social media. It's just one of those things that it just lended to this whole argument about shutting down your stuff. And I support a lot of what Elon talks about when it comes to AI and the fact that we do need regulation in that way. There's some place I do support regulation. I'm just saying. I do actually support a lot of regulation in that environment for a lot of reasons that he talks about. Mike said Brexit and Frexit are crazy over there. 100%. Askev said, oh, go let them leave. More eyes for me. This is true. Askev said, # Gen Rant happening. Tanya is here. Hey, girl. Hey, it's about time. Everyone's asking Tanya where she's been doing. LOL, I've been doing my own stories, Ken. Lowell said, I'd be more concerned about people posting stuff they regret sharing later. Agreed. That's a bigger concern I have about social media, is posting something then, 3 years later comes back to haunt you, rather than, just posting, or just having something out there that talks about, your personality metrics. But I want to move on a little bit. Okay, so in terms of, we kind of just talked about the legislation in regards to artificial intelligence, and absolutely, like, here's the thing, for all the congressional hearings, they asked Mark Zuckerberg so many times, they're like, do you support legislation? Would you support legislation? Would you support a bill? And they asked him like 600 times if they would support, most of which he said, I would support legislation that is, done in the right way. I would be happy to be part of the conversation. He never said he would support a bill because, he didn't want to get tied into something where they're like, well, Mark Zuckerberg said he would support our bill. But here's the thing, and I don't blame him for this, because he's talking about self-policing and he's talking about doing all these things at Facebook. And Uptempo Social finally showed up as well. All of you peoples are late. I'm expecting you at the top of the show. You guys are like 20 minutes late. I love you guys. But here's the thing. They're sitting here, the Congress, he's been sitting in this congressional hearing, and he's sitting here, and all these senators are asking him, they're like, do you support legislation? And da-da-da. And then they're like, well, we don't support self-policing, and, you need an oversight committee, and you need third party, and da-da-da. Oh, but in the next breath, they're like, so how are you going to handle all these modern attacks? And how are you going to deal with all these Russian interferences? You can't have it both ways, okay? Let me explain something that you guys understand. Technology, warp speed. Legislation, glacial freaking pace. You can't have them aligned. You cannot legislate in the way they want to, because it's going to take them 3 years to put anything out. And in the time that it takes them to put that bill together and actually get it passed and actually have it put in place, everything will be a bazillion times redone in the technology world. Like, what they're doing right now in terms of attacks and hacking and data mining and all these things aren't even going to matter in a year. They will be so far advanced in terms of new tactics to try to attack and hack this information that what we're talking about right now won't even matter. So that is why I 100% support self-policing. I also support legislation and some sort of governance, some sort of mandate to kind of help, because our government is so far behind in any sort of legislation and mandates that keep up with social media, and a lot of them are trying to do their best. The FTC tries to come in and manage, ads and sponsored posts and all these kind of things. But even by the time they get something out, people have managed to figure out a workaround. So you need Facebook to come up and say, look, we're going to self-police, and we're going to take responsibility for this, and we're going to do the things that need to be done to make sure that this doesn't happen again in the future. And the thing is, everything they did 3 years ago, and they've done more since then. But the things that Congress is asking them to do, they did 3 years ago. That's how far behind the whole situation is. And that is why I 100% support Mark saying, hey, we need to self-police this. And if you want to bring in a third party, great, but it has to be somebody who knows what the fuck is going on. It can't just be somebody who's like, okay, we're going to create a law. That's not how the world works. We need people in technology to help mandate technology. And that is a lot of what we were talking about with Elon Musk and his choices and his decisions, because he's sitting here going, you guys have no idea what's coming, and you need somebody to mandate this, but you need somebody who understands what's happening. All right, so a whole bunch of questions came in. My mouth is like really mad at me, you guys. This rant is killing me. So your stay-at-home said, I don't even watch documentaries that are older than 2018. Tanya Plummerfit said, the fact is, bottom line, if you're online and then you take risk. You want convenience, you give away data. That is how the world works. You want convenience, you're going to give away data. Ask Evie said, heck, who talks about writing a bill? They don't even understand that stuff even just a little bit. Watson KS said, the mouse is always getting smarter. Social Media Examiner is here. Hey, I'm assuming it's Jeff. Good to see you. Mike said, he's talking to Uptempo Social, said, is running about 25 minutes behind me, must be Sprout. Oh, the burns. Oh my God. High-fiving to Mike Alton. Mike Alton works for Agorapulse, who you guys know I love me some Agorapulse, and I'm always talking about Agorapulse. So there was a thread in a group recently, it was like in the last day or two, and a bunch of people were saying that Agorapulse was their favorite tool. And George at Uptempo Social decided to come out against the curve and start talking about Sprout Social. So Mike Alton is throwing some shade. I love it. It's hilarious. Tanya said, accept the risk and protect yourself as much as you can and move on. And that's the thing, you guys. Facebook is making the moves towards adding privacy. I'm going to talk about that as we talk about the GDPR here next. Social Media Sean said, nailed it. Uptempo Social said, Congress needs to fix Equifax before they even mess with Facebook, Google, and ad targeting. We got a So True said, yeah, how did Equifax get off so easy? Askey said, hashtag Agorafalls fan. Uptempo Social is laughing at us. And Askey is telling him to get on the wagon. Social Media Sean is giving shout out to Sprout Social. I have nothing against Sprout Social, you guys. I know people at Sprout Social. I do support the tool as well. It's just one of those. I'm going to love me some Agorapulse. I always am. So I'm always going to have Mike's back on that one. And Watson KS Ken was just saying, at least it's not Hootsuite. He had a big issue with Hootsuite today. So he's all up in, we're all up in our tools today. I'm telling you. Okay. So here's the thing, you guys, when it comes to social media, we do need to talk about some of the, the transparency. And I really, in my personal opinion, everything on Facebook and social media should be an opt-in to publicity, not an automatic publicity that you have to opt out of. So when you join Facebook, everything is public. All your settings are shared to public. Everything's set up to share all your information with everybody. It should be that your profile is set up to share with nobody, and you have to go in and change that. That is my belief, and I've been saying that for years. Anybody who knows me knows I've been saying that, especially in my personal life, my friends and family, because I go in and teach them how to actually set up their settings for privacy control. So that's absolutely something that I think that should be managing a little bit better. And that was something that was kind of, pushed onto Zuckerberg during the congressional hearings, which he didn't really address in that way. And I would like to see that come out as a solution to say, we're going to make everything locked down when you sign up, and you have to choose to opt in to publicity versus opting out of publicity. So I would love to see that. I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon, but I think that that would be a big help in a lot of people's comfort and understanding and reassurance given this whole situation. So I'm just double checking on my notes. Yeah, I'm trying to read my notes. I'm literally losing my own mind over here. I have so many notes and I've got them all scribbled all over the place. Social Media Sean said, so much now. Toad's lucky, got grandfathered into a cheap rate plan from years ago. Talking about Sprout Social, Tanya said, and that's why I use Facebook only for biz, not too much for personal stuff, with a whole bunch of typos in it. Gotta love it. And so Askey saying she tested them all in Agorapulse for the win. Mike, you're getting some love up in here. I'm just saying. Okay, so here's the thing. So there was a big issue recently. It happened God, I've lost so much track of time, you guys. I want to say it was 2 weeks ago now, where Facebook came in and was like, and they cut access to all the third-party apps. They just shut down everyone's API access to everything, and all the apps shut down. Anybody that had access to Facebook was shut down. Whether it was a scheduling tool, whether it was a live streaming tool, whether it was, a login tool, whether it was any sort of third-party tool or app, they all lost their API access and they had to revalidate. Everyone freaked out. And I do not blame Facebook at all for doing this. I actually applaud them for doing this, because what they did is they prevented the companies from going in and stripping the data ahead of the announcement. Originally, this was supposed to happen. I believe it was supposed to happen in July. So Facebook just came back and said, nope, we're not giving you to July, because if these bad companies who are not well affiliated and doing the right things have time, they're going to go in and take the data. They're going to do the bad things because they still have time. With the push and the time frame that was going on, they decided to say, nope, you're done. We're taking it off the table. So they did, and they shut everybody down. And guess what? All the real tools that are good brand partners that are doing smart, responsible things all got access within 24 hours. They all revalidated their API terms. They all got their access back, and everybody was fine again. You know who didn't? The companies who aren't doing the right things. The companies who aren't willing to adhere to the standards and requirements of the API. And some of those tools are still shut down to Facebook access because they are not legitimate tools using the API in the proper way. So I 100% applaud Facebook for being like, you know what? We're going to clean this up and we're going to do it the right way. And we're not going to give you warning. We're not going to give you the chance to build workarounds. We're not going to give you the chance to sneak in and do things that you're not allowed to do. We just shutting this shit down. And they did. So I 100% support that. As the people behind the scenes who managed the tools, dealt with the headaches, I know that they were pissed off and annoyed and frustrated. And those of us who use those tools that didn't have access that day with no notice, we were pissed off and annoyed. But guess what? It affected the whole flipping world. So everybody understood. We all got over it. And those good tools were back within 24 hours or less. So it really wasn't that big of a deal. And I, like I said, completely support that as a movement towards everything that we're doing in this new movement of Facebook to protect privacy. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm not buying into all the good words out there. I also know they're doing this for a lot of other reasons, like they're trying to save face, they're trying to protect themselves, they're trying to be compliant, they're trying to come out of this ahead. Like, trust me, I'm not sitting here being like, oh, Facebook's amazing and they're doing all the right things. Trust me, they're doing, they got a lot of they got to clean up. Like, there's a lot of badness out there that they got to clean up their own mess because they made this mess for themselves. I'm not, touting all their praises, but that being said, they have done a lot of good things to move forward, and I do support a lot of the things that they are doing. Okay, so Rad Gravy is here and said, would you say it's best to set up profiles under your business persona instead of a personal thing? Of course, Facebook requires a personal setup, right? Then for privacy concerns, you wouldn't have to post. Not quite sure what you mean. You have to have a personal, or you don't have to have a personal profile, but personal is personal, and then business is business. So if you're using it for business, you do need a business page. That you can't use your personal for business. That's in violation of Facebook's terms of use. So I recommend you do have them separate. And it doesn't, again, you choose what you put on your personal profile. I have friends on Facebook who never post anything. And guess what? Facebook doesn't have anything on them because they don't post anything. They don't like things. They don't comment on things. They're just there to stalk the rest of us. And Facebook does know what they're doing based on what they're stalking, just so you know. You're not that inconspicuous. But it's your choice how you want to interact on Facebook. Social Media Sean is saying he's loving this. I'm so glad you are. Seeking Surname said the opt-out initially makes sense. Pet Quirks is here as well. Tanya Plumber Fits and she's calling out George as a stud. Love it. Hey, Stephanie Liu said Facebook was, and I can't roll my R's, so I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try to do the skirt because I can't roll R's. I'm actually tongue-tied, so biologically I cannot actually roll my R's, and with my mouth all messed up the way it is, ain't going to happen today, I can tell you that much. Uptempo Social saying, so Studley, you guys are hilarious. Thoughts on Schedugram, not a fan. Personally, don't really love it. Seeking Surnames, is there a list of approved partners? No, there isn't specifically a list of approved partners, but all the big reputable companies, like any of the big brand names out there, are reputable. It's the smaller ones where you kind of have to be cautious, and it's usually best to kind of do some investigation onto their sites to see how they integrate with Facebook. You can flat out ask them. I've had people that reach out to me a lot of times because of my Instagram, world and my influence. And they say, hey, we have this new tool. And I will flat out ask them, how do you adhere to the API? Like, I don't think what you're doing is in accordance with the API. They either disappear and don't say anything, or they come up with BS excuses, or they tell me how they are actually in compliance with the API. So sometimes just shooting out a message if it's something you're not sure about. If you're a member of a Facebook group, feel free to ask. You can be in my Facebook group, which is Jen's Trends in Social Media. And, people in there will know and answer. If you're in like the social media examiner groups, they talk about this a lot as well. People are willing to help and give you those supported, list of partners. Hey, Stephanie Lewis said, yeah, Ecamm was able to get their app working super fast. Watson K said, no to Schedugram, not an Instagram partner. Thank you for saying what I wasn't going to say, but yes, not a big Schedugram fan. You guys, I'm just saying. Temple Social said, ooh, Jen cussed. It only took me 35 minutes to start cussing. This was a calm rant at, 30 minutes into the show before the bomb started dropping. Watson K said, Jen cussing, how unusual. How far back am I in these comments? Uptempo Social, where have you been? Jen always cusses. That's why I love her. And he's saying, I know, she's heated. Journey from 30 said, good to know my bosses use Schedugram, need to go independent. There's other tools out there. Like I said, Agorapulse is great. There's Iconosquare, there's Planoly, there's Later, there's Sprout Social, there's Hootsuite. There are a lot of tools that do scheduling that offer a bunch of different features. So go look at any of those. If you have questions, you can always go to the Facebook group, Jen's Trends in Social Media, and then we'll be happy to give you a list of all those other tools out there as well. Seeking Surname said mitigation because their lawyers said to 100%, talking about Facebook doing what they're doing. They expect we'll be able to start developing again after F8. that's good to know. Robin the Artist is here as well. Tiny said, I love that it's Randy Jen tonight. Been a while with the emojis with the explicit tape across the mouth because I'm cussing. You guys love it. Hey, Stephanie is going to F8. That's awesome. Red Gravy. Sorry, you guys. I'm like dying over here. My lips are sticking together. He said, correct, you choose. That's right. Uptempo Social said the Pixel knows. Watson K said, we need Ranty Jen every now and then. Hashtag Jen Rants. I'm loving it, you guys. I'm assuming it's Sherry Thandiz joined as well. And Journey from 30 said, I need to go independent anyway, starting my own biz. Good for you. I love that. I love to hear people moving on and doing things for themselves. That's great. Congratulations as you move forward in that journey. So, okay. We just kind of talked about the third-party tools, about that API process. Make sure that you are using approved third-party tools for anything. When you're all the highlighted notes, YouTube can see this a lot better because I have a much bigger camera going on YouTube. I've got the whole 16:9, not the 9:16 little one up here on Instagram. So I want to talk really quick about the GDPR. I was hoping to be done with this by now because my mouth is killing me, but we're probably going to almost hit the hour mark. So, well, we'll see how we do. So the GDPR, this is something that's coming out. This is actually legislation in Europe. It will take effect May 25th. And it regulates how people's data is processed, how it is controlled, how it is, distributed, all this sort of stuff as it relates to customers and people within the European Union. So it is one law for all of the EU. It's not something that's individual by, country or regions. It is for that entire region of the EU. And so the GDPR, which we'll hear a lot more about if you're paying attention in marketing, is the General Data Protection Regulation. The General Data Protection Regulation. I'm going to read a few of the notes because I'm going to tell you I'm kind of smart on it, but I'm probably going to get something wrong. So I want to kind of pull a couple things from some of these documents and just kind of give you guys some insights while I kind of talk about it as well. Watson KS said shit got serious. She used the highlighter. I know, like I was legit today, you guys. I was like, I'm researching the last couple days. I've been reading up on this stuff. I was ready to come tonight. I really wanted to give you my best, retake on all this kind of information. So we've also got Kim Yao is in the house. Don James Sammy is in the house as well from Singapore. Kaker1N is here as well. So here's the thing. In Europe, they've actually always had much better rules and regulations and legislation in most of these ways. They're much more advanced in general in terms of a lot of their legislation, especially when it comes to technology, than the US. And this whole Cambridge Analytica and all of the situation has been an ongoing discussion over in Europe, and it hasn't stopped. Everyone's been talking about it. But here in the US, it's kind of like diminished, and we're not really talking about it nearly as much, and we're not hearing anything about the GDPR even here in the US. Like, people aren't talking about this, but it has a direct impact on anybody. Hendo Fit Team is here as well. Mike Madmala is here. Good to see you. But this GDPR has an effect. Like, if you have customers in Europe, if you do anything with customers or any sort of data that you're collecting from people in Europe, this directly impacts you as a business. This isn't just Facebook. If anything, this is much more important for a business to understand the GDPR. So seriously, go Google GDPR and figure out how this impacts you if you have customers in Europe, because this is 100% important. Like, this is legit information that you need to know how to control data, and the type of data that is controlled is kind of crazy. Like, everything is controlled. So literally, let me read off the list because I'd like to keep on track of everything, because I'm going to probably lose my place in all these notes. Ask Evie said, we Europeans like our rules and checklists. Yeah, absolutely. So what types of privacy data does the GDPR protect? It protects basic identity information such as name, address, and ID numbers. So again, this has nothing really much to do with Facebook. That's maybe your name, I guess. But again, as a business, these are things you need to think about, and how it, if you're retaining customer information, including their contact information, this is going to impact you. It impacts web data such as location, IP address, cookie data, and RFID tags. Hello, social media. This doesn't just impact Facebook, you guys. This impacts all social media. Because if social media is in any way keeping track of your location, your IP address, any cookie data, which they're using cookies to target you, then they have to be mandated and controlled by the GDPR. So this is very important to a lot of things, like literally everything online. We've only gone through the first 2 bullet points. Everything online is mandated basically by this GDPR. Health and genetic data, biometric data, racial or ethnic data, which we all know is often tracked in Facebook, political opinions, that's the whole Cambridge Analytica thing, political opinions, and sexual orientation. Those are all the types of privacy data that is governed by the GDPR. So basically anything. Basically any information they can collect on you is protected by the GDPR. So like I said, if you have any business with anybody in Europe, you got to get smart. I'm just saying. So Uptempo Social said, he's talking to Mike Alton, said, I spent 15 years in orange boats, 25 pounds of tactical gear, and a life vest with 15 pounds of buoyancy. I'm not a fan of the color anymore. Sprout is green. Oh my God, you guys are hilarious. Ask Evie said, believe me, some rules are there for a reason, like no burning down houses because of crappy electricians. Tanya Plummer said, we need this in Canada. We've got... I think is it Josie or Sanchez is waving hello as well. We got Venus Wong Art is in the house as well. She does not want joined. So really it's no real privacy. And Mike Alton threw up the orange hearts. Mike, you're hilarious. The shade. I love you guys. Okay, so here's the thing. And I want to read these things because this is how it will impact Facebook. And this is what you guys need to know in terms of what this means in terms of like retargeting and ads and this sort of thing. So I'm going to read this. This is from Digiday. It's from the Digiday article. This is probably backwards on the camera, but it's from the Digiday article. Facebook will no longer be able to process news feed posts for ad targeting purposes unless those posts are marked public or friends of friends because they tend to include what the GDPR defines as special categories of data, according to sources. Ethnicity, ethnicity. I'm losing my camera focus. Come back to me. Come back. There we go. Ethnicity, religious beliefs, political affiliation, and sexual orientation are kind of data defined as special categories, which is what we just read over. So again, Facebook will no longer be able to process newsfeed posts for ad targeting purposes if they contain that type of information. This means that although Facebook is sitting on top of a trove of personal data, it will have to start offering a form of ad targeting that does not process those data points unless it can get explicit consent. Here's the problem. They probably would have got explicit consent a month ago. Like if they rolled this out and they were like, hey, do you give us consent to share your information? People were like, yeah, whatever, yep. But with everything that happened with Cambridge Analytica, this is going to be a lot harder for them to get that consent because now people are getting smart, which is not a bad thing. The fact that the general public is getting a little bit smarter to how social media works and what it means to have online profiles is a good thing. But in reality, this is going to make it harder for Facebook to get those explicit consent by giving authorization to share that information to be able to use targeted ads. So the social platform is in the challenging position of being classified as a data controller and a data processor under GDPR law. Whenever Facebook matches an advertiser's customer relationship management data to its user database to create a custom audience for a campaign, Facebook is classified as a data processor. And there's three categories if you read the GDPR rules. There's the data controller and the data processor. And I don't think I have the other one handy. I know I read them all, but I don't want to give the wrong ones, but I know there's those two for sure. It's the data processor and the data controller. So, and that's how they handle and manage the data and how they're regulated by the GDPR. So you have to understand that custom audience, that whole, thing that we use when we use our targeted ads, that's going to be highly different. So in order for Facebook to be compliant, and you guys have to understand right now, so if you'd put up all these hearts, black and orange hearts, and on my screen, they're giving me a total mustache because it's like they're totally faded. Like as the next person comes in, they will go away. But I'm looking at myself and it looks like I have a really funny mustache. So I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but I'm literally laughing at myself as I look in the camera because I've got this funny heart mustache going on. So Stacey Barnes, great to see you as well. Thanks for joining me. If someone could drop a comment, I can get rid of this funny looking mustache on my face. That would be amazing. Thanks. But so Facebook is going to have to do some things to better control how ads are targeted. And you're going to have to realize that as an advertiser, you may not get the same type of reach that is going to generate the type of targeted reach that you're getting now. You might get a broader reach without the same type of targeting, but you're going to be compliant. And you as a company are regulated by the GDPR as well. If you're targeting ads for people in the EU, then this does affect you, whether you want to or not, this is going to affect you. So, and whether or not this GDPR expands elsewhere and becomes a bigger issue elsewhere, Facebook is implementing this now, which means it will probably have impact on people outside of the EU. For probably, US-based ads and, North American-based ads won't directly be regulated by this, and you'll be able to get more targeted ads than what you're getting in the EU. But you do have to realize that this may expand in a lot of ways that we're not used to right now. So your reach and your audience demographics for your ads is going to change as a result of this rule, which goes into effect May 25th. According to a Facebook spokesperson, this is a quote from a Facebook spokesperson, like other companies, we are actively preparing for the GDPR to ensure that our products and services comply. We've brought together hundreds of employees across product engineering, legal, policy design, and research teams. We're also developing resources that help other organizations build privacy into their services. For example, we built a microsite to help answer questions from our advertising partners, and we're hosting workshops on data protection for small and medium businesses, as well as updates via our newsroom and our Facebook business blog. Seriously, you guys, go to Facebook's business blog. They have a bunch of stuff on this. A blog post just came out last night, which is this one. This one just came out last night. And it has a bunch of information about how they're putting things in place for the GDPR. So you can get all of this information. Seriously, a quick Google search will give you a ton of information. But you do have to realize Facebook is very aware of this. They have been doing this. They're being compliant. They are not messing around. Like, they're on the hot seat, and they're going to make sure that they're being more than compliant with these things. Oh, and a lot of you probably know I'm holding my face, you guys. You have no idea. I'm dying over here. I'm pushing 50 minutes. I'm like, I've only got a few minutes left. I've got about 10 minutes left, and we're going to hit the hour anyways. So here's the thing. If you've logged into Facebook recently, you've probably seen the privacy thing that popped up on the top of the Facebook feed on your personal page, your personal profile, and it says, we're updating our privacy, go to settings, and they're taking you through. They're making everything about this much more broad, open, impossible to miss. So it is definitely something that they are moving towards. You have to be prepared for this, and you have to, be understanding of this as a business, not just as a marketer using Facebook or other social media. So under the GDPR, Facebook will neither be able to collect and use data for behaviorally targeting ads, nor bundle consent to serve personalized ads, but it does have other options. For example, they could introduce non-personalized ad services. Hello, Google, the ads that pop up that have absolutely no relevancy to you, probably going to be a direction that they have to go. That do not rely on individual users' personal data to inform the targeting, which is what exposes everyone to risk under the GDPR. So like I said, if you want that, then you're at risk. If you want to be compliant, you're going to have the broad scope reach. You're not going to get the highly targeted reach that you're used to now, unless you give explicit consent. Now, me as a marketer, great. I want targeted ads. I want things that match me, that match my personality, that match my shopping habits. That are going to be like, here's a great product to serve something that you may need. Great. Give that to me. But the average user is probably not going to do this. So as a marketer, you need to pay attention to this. You need to be prepared that your ads and your targeting is drastically going to change. And I would assume this is going to impact the price of your ads as well. So think about that in terms of your budgeting. Okay, so that was it for that one. So Facebook, I just wanted to double check. So here's what Facebook said in the blog post that came out last night. Everyone, no matter where they live, let me repeat, everyone, no matter where they live, will be asked to review important information about how Facebook uses data and makes choices about their privacy on Facebook. We'll begin rolling these choices out in Europe next week. This came out last night. So next week, Europe is going to start getting this where they have to literally go through and choose what they want to share as defined by Facebook. This is going to impact everybody. They're going to roll this out globally. So they're going to give everybody the opportunity to participate in defining what they want in terms of information to be shared and choosing their privacy. I kind of already talked about that. So we'll ask everyone on Facebook to make choices about ads based on data from partners, meaning ads on Facebook that they use from partners like websites and apps that use business tools such as our like button. So if you like something from another source on their website or their app, and Facebook gets that knowledge, you have to basically give explicit permission to get ads from those companies. We'll ask people to review information about this type of advertising and to choose whether or not they want us to use data from partners to show them ads. They will also have to make choices about information in their profile. If you've chosen to share political, religious, and relationship information in your profile, we'll ask you to choose whether to continue sharing that and letting us use this information. So they're going to give you the option to go in and change it, delete it, or give permission to use it. Again, this is all rolling out to the European Union next week, and it will roll out to everybody coming up. There's a lot of things going on in these comments right now that I just glanced at, and I'm like, you people are doing a whole lot of conversation. I am not reading those comments. I'm just saying, I'm not reading, because they're talking about when we get the generalized ads. And George, I love you. I love where your mind goes. They're also going to have you, which this isn't as relevant to what we're talking about. Tanya's leaving me. Mwah, I'm leaving in a moment too. So great to see you. I want to talk to you more though for sure. So hit me up. They're also going to ask people to allow face recognition technology. So right now, have you ever noticed that like if you share a photo, it'll pop up and say, do you want to tag so-and-so in the photo? Like it recognizes the faces in the photos that you share. You will now have to give permission for that photo recognition technology to actually recommend you being tagged in other people's photos. So that's something that is very relevant to people's concerns from a marketing perspective, not quite as big of a deal. So I didn't want to, hang on to that so much as well. We will also ask people to agree to our updated terms of service and data policy, which include more detail in response to questions about how our services work. So they're going to go through and they're going to update that. They're going to make things broad and clear and wide open and easy to access and easy to read so that everyone understands what is happening. And it's not that like 14-page, terms of use that nobody reads. They're going to put sections in there that are really easy to understand. Watson KS is out. He said his pizza's here. So peace. Go have your pizza. Julie Kathleen joined as well. Stacey Barnes said, cool. I actually like the opt-in permission for photo recognition. I agree. As a personal user, I definitely think that's a good thing to have. So that being said, you guys, I'm going to pretty much wrap this up. That was kind of the last of what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to kind of wrap up talking about that GDPR and how that affects you guys. So we talked about a lot tonight. As I said at the top of the show, this is not legal advice. I'm not telling you what to do or how to do it. I'm just trying to enlighten you to some of the things that are really being impacted. Facebook is going to change. It's not going away. Don't quit Facebook. This is not the end of the world. And here's the thing. Other social media are going to start doing the same things because they have to. Everybody's affected by the GDPR. LinkedIn is affected by it. Twitter is affected by it. Everybody's affected by it, you guys. So they're all going to be doing the same things. If you think this is a Facebook-only thing, you are way mistaken. It's just that Facebook got put on the hot seat. Facebook got called out because of the whole Cambridge Analytica thing, and now they're the big issue that they got pulled into Congress, and they got pulled in front of, all these hearings, and they're the ones, being dragged through the mud. But trust me, it is affecting every single social media platform. Any online marketing tools are impacted by this. So things are going to change going forward. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that the general public being smarter about all of this and understanding how things work is a great thing. I hope that more people will continue to be educated. A lot of people watch those congressional hearings. I think the majority of them were marketers and people like us who care enough to learn about this. I really don't think it was a lot of everyday people. Octonation is in the house. Hey, hey, hey. So I really don't think this is something that the average person knows that much about. And I think they need to know more. And I think that Facebook is doing a lot to bring that knowledge to them. They're trying to make things more obvious. And I hope that this conversation stays at the forefront. I hope people keep talking about this and people get smart to it and understand so that they are more protected and informed and understand what data they're giving away and not having these, panic attacks of bad information that they think, all of their information is being stripped out of Facebook, because that's not what's happening. So that being said, we talked about a lot of things here tonight. If you do want to join me in the Facebook group, Jen's Trends in Social Media is what it's called on Facebook. Request to join the group. I'll add you in there. Feel free to come in and talk more about this. I'm happy to have open discussions. Again, not giving out any sort of information related to, legal advice. But definitely, we can chat about this more because we are out of time. My mouth is absolutely killing me. For those of you who came in late, I'm getting over a virus that infected all my gums. So I am a whole lot of cranky. Today I had one of those days, I'm not going to lie. I had one of those days where I just wanted to scream into a pillow because, you just have those days and things just don't go well and people say things and do things to really piss you off. I came home from work and I wanted to scream into a pillow for about 20 minutes. But I had to get ready for this. And I'm glad I did because you guys were great. Appreciate all the comments. George is asking, yes, George, Octonation is the world's largest octopus fan club. They are amazing. And Sue Beep might have shown them off. I don't know. I didn't watch her society lecture, but she probably did mention them. So you guys, thank you so much for being here. I love you. Feel free to come into, like I said, the Facebook group. We can talk more about this. Thank you for being here. If you missed this or if you came in late, you can come back and watch the replay here on Instagram for 24 hours. The replay will also be available on YouTube as soon as we end this broadcast. So thank you so much. I will see you guys again in 2 weeks and we will talk about something else. Whatever happens in the world, whatever needs to be addressed, we will talk about that in 2 weeks. So bye, you guys. Thank you for being here as always. Octonation saying, OMG, I'm famous. You're so famous and you know it. All right, you guys, bye. All right, YouTube, thank you so much. We are out.